Hello and welcome to Beyond the Lights, Football Across Texas, where we're talking football in towns with head coaches across the state. I'm your host, Brandon Brown, retired football coach and AD, and I'm glad you could join us today at this week's stop in the Lone Star State as we meet one more coach and one more town that make up the world of Texas high school football.
Favorite run play, I like ISO.
Power. You got to run the power.
Run the picket fence.
So I was hung up at the crow's nest.
My grandfather was the first African-American running back to be All-State.
I was 19 right about the time and went to a church revival and got saved. And that path changed my life. It's about going in there and changing lives.
Mudita, which is finding joy or happiness in others' success.
Now, I got a funny story on this.
Oh, those guys grew up on beans and cornbread. You know, I grew up on McDonald's and bologna sandwiches, a little better deal.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd like to play the flute, Dad.
It ain't all right either. You're editing, but go ahead.
So if I tell you too much more, I have to kill you?
All right, before we get started today, I wanted to give a couple shout-outs again. Remember, go see Coach Patman down at Covert Auto in Hutto if you're looking for a used vehicle and you're in that Central Texas area. Former AD and head football coach down at Del Valle, so he'd be a great guy you can trust to help get you into a new vehicle. And he doesn't pay me to advertise for him. I just love the guy, great guy. So I like to try to help former coaches. So head his way if you're in that area and need a new vehicle. Also, last week I brought up to you, or 2 weeks ago, I brought up to you that new company called Spiral XO based out of Georgia. And as soon as I had mentioned it, a listener out of Georgia messaged me and said that they use the program at Dodge County High School out there, and they love it. So shout out to Coach Lamb out there for sending me the feedback, because I didn't know anybody yet that had used it because they're fairly new, but trying to get their foot in the door here in Texas. And some pretty neat stuff. I've got my 30-minute demo set up to do that pretty quick, but my home inspections have been like super busy, so it's got me sidetracked. But anyway, check out Spiral XO. Remember what it is. It's kind of this all-in-one package to help you during the season, to help things run pretty smoothly. It's got playbook stuff, player communication capabilities, weekly practice schedule, scripting, in-game analytics. You can quiz your kids with it through the app, send them your install on the weekend, play cards, everything, and check the, in-game analytics to see what's working and what's not. It's got all kinds of useful stuff on there. It's pretty cool, and it integrates with Huddle. So go to Spiral XO. That's spiral like throwing a spiral, spiralxo.com, or go to my website, footballacrosstexas.com. There's a big link in the middle of the page you can click on. You can watch a 5-minute video kind of for yourself to get a quick demo, or you can schedule a 30-minute walkthrough so they can tell you all about it, which is what I'm in the process still of doing. And tell them you heard about it through this podcast, Football Across Texas, and you'll get a 10% discount too if you wind up purchasing it. And it's not that expensive. I was kind of surprised by that. That's spiralxo.com, or click on the link at footballacrosstexas.com, and I'll try to put a link in the show notes for this too. So anyway, tell them I sent you, and now let's get to the show. All right, hello and welcome to episode 66. I'm in Hillsboro today, right here on I-35. Most people know where Hillsboro is, so I probably don't have to tell anyone about that because everybody will pass through it going north or south in Texas. And I'm here today with new head football coach, Leeland Hamilton. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing really good. Thank you for having me. Excited.
Oh, yes, sir. I appreciate you taking the time. I know the spring's kind of a crazy, busy time with everybody, and so appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, sir. No problem. Anything to get back to Texas high school football.
All right.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Well, hey, okay, I looked up, and it looked like y'all changed districts. Before we get into today's stuff, what are your thoughts on the districts? That you like the looks of it?
Yeah, I think coming in, first year head coach, coming into this, I do think that this is a district where we could do some things, get the community behind it, and do some things like that, and give the kids the confidence that they need. I am in favor of it, obviously. Not a big fan of how it'll help us get to the playoff quicker and things like that. You definitely want to always earn your spot in the playoff, but just talking to the coaches, we're going to be focused on earning the seed that we need when we get, for us to be in there.
Now, am I right that there's only one team on there from last year's district?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
correct.
And that's Venus?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yep.
and that was a win last year.
Yes,
so,
no, it's
so
two.
that's
Glen
good.
Rose and Venus. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
so two of them.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
and Glen Rose was a close game kind of last year, wasn't it?
Glen Rose beat up on us pretty
Oh,
good.
did they?
I
Okay.
think it was like a three touchdown game where they were ahead.
Okay, well, for me, that's close. Nowadays, when people are scoring 50 or 60 points, three touchdowns isn't necessarily that much. Now, if y'all are both slot T teams, three touchdowns is a lot.
Absolutely.
But, a spread game. What do you run? I mean, are you a spread guy or are you a run game guy?
I'm more of a three. Yeah, you could say spread. Primarily going to be three receivers on the field,
Okay.
with a tight end that can do it all. I would say the tight end is the key to the offense. A kid that can run, catch, block, do all of that. That's the key to the offense. But it's spread, getting the skill guys involved with the football and things like that. So definitely want to bring some excitement here to Hillsboro and score some points.
Okay, and that's 4A Division II, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right, well, good deal. All right, well, Coach, hey, we always get started the same way with you giving us kind of some background on yourself, where you grew up, and what brought you to this point that you are right now.
Yeah. So born and raised Beaumont, Texas. My mom had me at a young age. So my great grandparents raised me. I'm extremely family oriented. My family did a good job of raising me.
Now he had a Bible on his desk opened up when I walked in, so I know you got some good background.
Yeah, you're definitely going to church on Sundays and at my grandfather's house. He wasn't playing that. Grew up in Beaumont, Texas. Went to Beaumont Ozan. It's no longer Ozan now. It's called Beaumont United. They merged two schools together. But that's where I went. I went there, graduated, went off to junior college in California, and that was a big turning point in my life because that's kind of how I more so got my start into football. Met my connections, the coaches, my position coach that coached me was able to help me get my first start in the coaching. And
why California? Was it just something that was the best offer?
Yeah, it was the best offers at the time. I was kind of a different kid. I had some offers to, UL Monroe and some things like that. And I just at the time thought I was better than I was, and I didn't have that reality check early enough. I definitely thought I was the best player where I was at, and I felt like I could have played at better places. So I turned down those schools, and you learn the hard way. That's definitely a turning point in my life where I had a big pivot at a young age, about 20 years old, 20 years old, had to make a different decision, and that's how I got my stint into coaching. California, I had no ties to the area or anything like that. I loved the coach that was recruiting me. His deal was he could get me recruited. He had coached in the Canadian leagues and things like that, Mike Esposito. I had a good relationship with him, and it was ultimately I really just fell in love with the coach, not necessarily the school. Had a good connection with him, and he brought me there, and as soon as he got there, I had to play defense instead of offense. So that was my whole deal with that. But that helped me. I grew up pretty quick. That's how I got to California and got into football.
Okay. All right. And so from there, what was your route kind of that brought you over here?
Yeah. So did the football deal there. When I got into coaching, I had to connect Jeff Matthews, good coach of mine and a good friend of a head coach that was my head coach in high school. He was always hear the name, and they were always really good, in football. They were always district champs or right underneath it competing. And when you're playing them, it's going to be tough. Just built a relationship with the head coach over some time. Hey, I'm trying to get into coaching. Hey, stop by. I love to talk with you and, explore some options with you and talk ball with you. And then, he just offered me some things. Hey, I got this. I don't have a paid position yet, but you can come in and learn and kind of do some grunt work, kind of cut your teeth in football, draw cards, things like that. He was 100% slot T. So I wasn't coming in there showing him any passing concepts. He didn't want to hear that, right? But I did learn how to run the football. Yeah. And then I also learned how to defend it. So I spent a lot of time focusing on defense at that point because I was a skill guy, receiver, quarterback, defensive back in college, and then understanding, we never played anyone that was a slot T team in college. We didn't defend that, right? So getting that really got me started, and then his connections just opened the door up. I got a job offer from Coach Marcus Graham at Beaumont United. He was the offensive line coach at Duncanville. They had just lost to North Shore, I think on the Hill Mary that year. He hired me to come be the quarterback coach at Beaumont. And I was like, okay, well, why not go back to Beaumont and give back, right? And coach there. So I got that stint. We made the playoffs. We made history. Beaumont United had never made the playoffs in the existence. So we made history year one. We went back-to-back years to the playoffs. We lost to Manville in the playoffs both years. After that, I was able to go to Klein, worked under Coach John Wilson, who's now the running back coach at Rice University. I worked with some really good coaches. And after that stint, I was able to go over to Cy Woods And Cody Semper was a pivotal point in my life, probably the best coach I've ever worked for. Seriously, the things that he taught me and things like that, the coaches that were there on staff that became a head coach, things like that, that was a great stop for me there. And that's how I got to Morton Ranch and then here to Hillsboro. So that's the story. Yes, sir.
All right, now Katy, that area is booming over there.
It's still growing. It's still going.
Okay, so was it like a requirement since they got a Buc-ee's over there that you could only go to a town that had a Buc-ee's?
I didn't even think, it's crazy. I didn't even think of it like that. But yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Right, there aren't many Buc-ee's around here, but Hillsboro has the one.
It does. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got to make sure and make my stop there on my way out.
Yeah,
so
that's a good spot.
Okay, so coming in here, first head coaching job.
Yep.
Okay, trying to turn the program around. What are your top priorities as you're coming in here as the head coach that, okay, I've got to get X, Y, and Z done?
Yeah. Number one, I think, is I think it's important to, with kids nowadays, like we were talking about before, you have to give them the why. I think basically baseline understanding, the kids have to understand what it is we're doing and why we're trying to do it, what we're trying to get done. So I would just call that, just understanding, the phases, making sure I'm meeting with the team. I do a lot of, presentation, PowerPoint type of things to put that illustration out there and talk the kids through it. This is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it. Not just giving them something to do and yelling at them, right? Just explaining it to them so we're all on the same page in here. Next, I would say is just focusing on the focus part of the discipline, right? These kids are amazing here. I haven't seen not one bad kid yet. I haven't. They're all yes, sir, no, sir. They all work hard. They do an extremely good job and they're tough. So just being able to finite focus on those things and the discipline part of that is the big part. Just continuing to be the most disciplined team.
Okay, so the discipline of doing things right, not the discipline of punishment.
Correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I got you.
Yeah, doing things
because
right.
everybody, when you say the word discipline, they're okay, which one are we talking about?
Yeah.
We're undisciplined.
We're past that
going
part
to
of
get punished
here. Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that.
That's
problem.
good.
Yeah,
we
don't have that problem here. And then next, I think is being able to focus. I think you have to get the X's and O's right. I do believe in that. I do think that's the third component. You have to get the X's and O's right. We got to know what to do on Friday night. I could be the greatest coach, come in with all the great culture, the best discipline. But if we don't have kids that know what to do on Friday nights, it doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah, wins and losses can cure a lot of things. But those are I would say X's and O's for sure at that third part to be able to have the kids to understand what it is that we're going to go do. And I think that takes care of the buy-in. I think that keeps things in place and holds the nuts and bolts. I think that's the meat and potatoes of the deal is getting the X's and O's right.
So were you able to, are you like sending some stuff home with them to start learning some things, or do you have
I do. It's not much sending it home. Try to force them to retain a lot of information, but we do have things that, we give to them. Big on like Google Classroom. They do a lot of things already in school on their Chromebook, so just getting that to them. And it may not be much. It just may, hey, remember, what are these two run plays? I'm a big R and a L guy, so every play has an R and a L. So, hey, what are those two run plays we put in last night? Remember those. What are they? And just ask them in the hallway.
Yeah.
When you see them, okay, coach, it's Bears and Bulls. Good. I know they looked at it, right? Just things like that to getting them to be able to retain, because also, we're changing the whole system. The verbiage and everything is different.
Yeah.
So, you kind of got to give it to them, as a fire hose, just give it to them. And the more they keep hearing it, the better it is to, on that transition. So.
Okay, well, hey, tell me this then.
Yeah.
What coaching-wise, were you able to bring in anybody with you? Or are you keeping, mainly the same staff?
Yeah. So, we always look for that, and that's always up for discussion, right? I think that's one of the hardest things and the most important thing to do as a head coach. No matter if you're a head coach for 1 year or 30 years, it's the staff. For me, I am keeping some guys. Obviously, guys that want to stay. There's some coaches that, wanted to leave and things like that, and I get it. They didn't know me, I don't know them. I didn't know a coach coming into this. Yeah. My connection to Hillsboro was from a coach that I worked with before, who was from Hillsboro. So I didn't know any of these guys. So I definitely, first thing I want to do was meet with them all. I think I owed them that, because I've been in their seat where you got a coach coming in and I didn't know him, right? And you're just like, what is this guy? Hopefully he gives me a shot to see what I know and I can do for him, right? So I met with every coach one-on-one. Then I did a staff meeting and let them know together the same thing I told them all in a meeting. Hey, everything we're going to interview, I'm going to let you interview for the position that you have and the position that you do want, right? Because you got coaches that feel like they should have been maybe a coordinator or had more responsibility. We're gonna do that. We're gonna put that in play. I'm already interviewing guys for the coordinator spot. I can interview you too, right? So we did that. But to answer your question, as far as coaches I'm bringing in, yes, I do have coaches that we're going to bring in. I'm bringing in a coordinator. He's coming in from Woodville, Coach Reginald Corbin.
How long was he at Woodville?
3 years. So he was a part of he ran the offense a lot, helped Big Say in that, and how they went to state.
Yeah.
So he, small town.
Those
Bill,
are my buddies over there. Robinson.
Okay.
Robinson.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to coach against Ty, and the superintendent at Woodville was my superintendent at Schulenburg.
Okay.
And so I used to coach against Bo. Sorry, the older brother Bo, but. Ty, I know fairly well too, and I hired a guy out of Woodville several years ago for my coordinator.
Yep, and he's got a college background. He's been in college more. He's only been in high school 3 years, but we're from the same city. So I knew of him. He's older than me. Knew of him growing up. He was the quarterback. Did a lot of good things, and you always go to the game, want to be a ball boy. Look at him, man. He did this and that. So it's cool to be able to work together now, right? So I'm able to bring him in. Obviously, going to have a defensive coordinator change, right? We're gonna address that. So for sure, the coordinators are going to be completely different here. And then obviously we're going to make some different moves as far as up front, offensive line, and get a strength coach in here. So we're going to make a few changes on the staff, but the guys that want to stay.
Well, and that's big though, that you're able to get that one guy in here that well, you've got history with, and that kind of thing. Just to have that right hand man that you're not wondering in the back of your mind. Because you never know when you come in and you got guys that have been there, that, okay, what's being said behind the scenes. So when you got the right-hand man, it's just nice to have that with you, and then it takes time to develop, to get the trust with the people that may have been there for a while. But it's good to have that mix of both.
Yep.
Okay, so we're in the middle of our in-season practice scheduling, and you're coming from a place you're probably two platooning everybody, right?
We had a lot of kids. We had some kids.
Are you going to try to two platoon here?
If I can, yeah. I want to try. I want to try to to spare as many kids as possible.
Yeah.
Right. If we, and I know it. You're thinking 4A, on down. Kids play both ways. Obviously, I get that. And I don't want to be ignorant to the fact of that, and have this big 6A mentality of where I've came from. But I do want to try to do that, and I think by doing that, that forces every kid to get coached. I've been in a situation and I've been blessed to be able to have that, right? One kid, he don't have to play both sides of the ball. But by doing that, it forces you to use that kid that maybe wouldn't play because you're playing both guys one way. But at some point, you're going to need little Timmy, who doesn't get all the reps, to play and get you out of a game and maybe start another game because such and such may be hurt, right? I think that's big. So we're going to try to, for sure. How much or how little, that's yet to be seen. We're going to do some spring stuff. We're going to do some stuff in the athletic period and put some stuff on tape so we can see what the kids are doing and how they're doing it. But ultimately, we want to try to two platoon.
Well, I think that's great because, I still go back to the old Bridgeport coach where I grew up, that he came in a couple years after me and took him from 0-10 to 11-3 or something in his first year. Excuse me. And when I asked him at a later point, what was the number one thing you think that made the biggest difference? And that's what he said. He said, I two platooned them.
Yeah.
He said, he said, now, if they were a stud, they would come in maybe on the other side of the ball in special, unique situations. But for the most part, he two platooned everybody. And he said that kid that got that more coaching, like you were saying, and got every rep was as good or better than the other one would have been going both ways.
Half and half.
I think that's great to be trying to.
Yes, sir.
So tell me then, what's a weekly layout look like for you? And then we'll kind of look at some of your daily stuff. What's a weekly layout that you're planning to use maybe for the fall?
Yeah. So, number one, we want to come in. Mondays is more of a learning day, right? We don't want it to be a long day. We want to that's a heavy meeting day. We're going to watch film and do things like that with the kids every day. I believe in that. We're going to show them things. This is the install. We're going to do what we do offensively.
When that goes back to the why of what you're saying.
Correct.
When they can see it on film, they can understand.
Hey, this is the game plan. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. Showing them that. It don't have to be long, 15, 20-minute reels of why we're going to run these plays. Now it helps them. They've seen it work. They've seen the other teams exploiting this defense on what it is. This is what we're going to do. So now they got a belief in it already. I don't have to sell it to them as much as the easier sell, right? So that's a Monday. Then we get out there, and obviously we want to make an easy transition. During the athletic period, we want to be heavy meeting time and special teams. I want to take advantage of the athletic period to do that. That way after school, we can finish up our meetings with the other side of the ball if we need to do that, and then get out there and practice. I believe in keeping the guys fresh. Practices, in my opinion, shouldn't be more than 16, 18 periods. It should be really crisp. because you got to use that athletic period. I feel like, the more you get into 24-ish, 26 periods all the time throughout a, 10-week deal plus the playoffs, you got the guys pretty burnt out, and if you don't have just kids on top of kids, 3 deep or things like that, you're kind of hurting the team a little bit. So I want to make sure the guys are fresh as possible. So Monday is a light day. Tuesday is going to be the heavier days, right? Tuesday is going to be the intense days of the week. We're going to have a live segment here and there. So I believe in going to the ground for about 8 plays, right? That's something we did at Morton Ranch. Hey, we're going to go to the ground a little bit. We're going to go to the ground a little bit and get these guys calloused a little bit, right? And then after that, Wednesday is more of a rinse and repeat, throw everything out that didn't work, right? And then Wednesday, we're going to go hit this ground running with sharp, crisp plays, try to get this deal done as fast as we can, play with a tempo on offense, make sure the kids are lining up, no mental errors on Wednesday. That's what we call it, work Wednesday. We can't have any mental errors. If the kids have mental errors, I'm meeting with the coaching staff like, why are we blowing that coverage? Why didn't we fit that run right? Things like that. Thursday, mock game, pretty much like everyone else does. And it's real easy. It's a real easy day, more of a walkthrough. It's a fast play polish, 20 plays, right? 20 plays on offense of the sweep the corner deal that we have to get done. Defense, get the lineup, get their pictures, and we call it a slow fit drill where they're jogging through the fits and things like that, recognizing it, calling out the formations and the top tendencies. We'll do that, get the kids out of here and get ready to go for Friday.
Okay.
Yes,
all right. So if you break down a Monday into your 16 to 18 periods or whatever it is you're doing, what's kind of what would a typical Monday?
Typical Monday would be just group. I would say a lot of group stuff, 7-on-7 type stuff, getting these concepts down, routes on air, a lot of group stuff. Indy with the offensive line group stuff where they're in unit, working on their runs together, their steps, things like that, in unison together. With cadence of the quarterback, mesh drill with the running back and the quarterback, receivers timing up the jet sweeps, things like that. All group stuff, right?
All that stuff they're going to be doing for that next
all
game.
that stuff, yeah. And any change or a tag or any adjustment to the norm, right? So we may call this play Bulls keep or whatever it may be, Bulls cut. And instead of, hey, now this week when you hear Bulls cut, I want you to do this instead of that. Okay. So we're working on that new tag or whatever that is to the base play on Monday, right? Just the introduction of that part. So the more they hear it early in the week and we can see it work early on film for Tuesday's work day, right? Tuesday and Wednesday. If we don't like it, hey, we spent the 2 days to run it and see, and Thursday it's out, right? So that will be the deal on Monday. Get that group work done. I'm more of an individual guy in the beginning, right? I don't like a lot of Indy on the practice script. Other than offensive line, I want offensive line to get at least 30 minutes of Indy a day if we can do it, right? I want that. But other than that, I'm low Indy, right? I'm low Indy. I believe the position coaches can try to steal Indy in any time, right? If you don't have guys on special teams, still right there, right? But other than that, I'll give the position coach 15, 20 minutes. But outside of that, that's where the pre-practice comes in, the stand after, things like that come into play like that.
Yeah. You want a guy I used to coach with, Victor Arguillo, that was his deal, is he was going to get all his receivers, their catches and their touches and all that stuff before practice ever started.
Yeah.
They had to get 100 catches in before practice even started. So they were getting their hands drills. They were getting all of that in then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Tuesdays, when you're going heavier, are you concentrating more to the group and team? But you already said you do more group and team than you do individual. Yeah. So what's Tuesday look like?
Tuesday is going to be more of a play polish. We're going to tighten up those things. So it may be Monday ball security, stuff like that. Indy, new tags, run through the norm. Tuesday, we're going to put the ball down and we're going to get some stuff on film. That's where the days you're going to do inside. And I call it inside, but it's a team deal, right? So I'm a younger coach, right? So I believe there is a time and place where you have to do inside. I'm not saying don't do inside 9-on-7. We're going to do that, but I do believe in doing it in a team aspect, right? And we used to debate about that all the time in Morton Ranch. Yeah, I would go in there and we were talking about practice plan, and it's Tuesday, we're going to do inside. And I'm like, okay, these are the formations, give it to the defense coordinator. And our head coach was a defensive-minded guy, right? So I would give them the formation we're going to run because you didn't want them yelling, we didn't cover that, this and that. So funny deal, man. We would give it to them, and they're like, yeah, you're going to have everybody in there except the corners. Whoa. Let's just go 11-on-11. If you're going to have the safeties and everybody in there, just 2 guys or not, we're going to just throw the receivers out there. Right? And make you really line up and put you in there, and where you're going to have to fit. And we're going to get better too, right? So we're not going to just hand the ball off into a 9-man front all night when we know we would be RPOing or something like that. We're going to get some work out of this and get better. That won't help us if we're not doing that, right? So if it's a toughness drill, I like to do a fast 7, put the ball down 7 plays. be tough. We're running the ball. You know we're running it. Make the kids compete, things like that. But after that, bring all the skilled guys out there. Make the guys line up and incorporate that drill because that's what they're going to have to do in the game, right? Yeah. You're not going to be able to just line up 9 guys right there and just fit the run all night and don't have to worry about anybody trying to do nothing to you on the perimeter. You're going to have to worry about that, right? So we want to make sure that we have a plan for that on Tuesday. So we're going to make sure we get that on film. On offense, that's just going to depend on how we can practice that. More than we split up a lot. We did good on good later in the week. So we would do, we're blessed to have talented enough JV1s that would give us our scout look. And on offense, I mean, we're blowing and going. We're going to get about 50 reps, maybe 60 on that Tuesday on film.
Are you a pretty fast-paced offensive guy?
Yeah, we're going to be pretty fast. We're
okay.
going to get the defense line. Now, we can control it. I'm not a guy that's a one-word guy, makes everybody line up. I just believe if I call the play faster, we're going to snap the ball faster.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of the times, the guys on the staff, previous staff I was on will tell you, I'm calling the play as that guy's before he's even getting tackled. He's on the right hash while he's running. I'm letting the guys know we're going to be trips left. Like, right, I'm kind of already doing that, and it's fast, right? And the quarterback, sometimes you'll see clips of games we're playing, the quarterback's looking over while the guys still run down the field looking for the next play, right? So we want to play. I believe if I can get the play in faster, we're going to play faster. If I want to slow it down, I'll just send the play in with 20 seconds left, right? So that's how I look at it. But yeah.
What did they do here last year offensively?
They were similar. They used a lot of tight end situations, double tight situations, 2 running backs. They ran the ball really well. I will say that they did that. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. We're going to be able to run the ball next year. I believe they ran the ball really well last year.
So it's not going to be a complete change of mentality.
No, I think they're going to be good, and I think they're it's a 4 returning 4, right? It's really 3, but 4. The 4th guy played a lot. He wasn't a starter, but he played, about 100 snaps. So it's basically like a starter pretty much, and he played that as a sophomore. So he's going to have 2 years with them. I don't expect a hard challenge to be able to run the ball next year. No.
Okay. So, all right, so that's your Tuesday. Wednesday, you said you're going to cut out the stuff that wasn't working.
Yep.
Are you spending a little more time in team Wednesday?
Yes, Wednesday, heavy situations, right? So something that our previous head coach, Coach Cavallo, would do would, after you get your scout work in, 'cause Wednesday is the day before, with JV, they're playing on Thursday. So that's the day to get your good on good, right? So we would use those JV guys for 20 plays or so, what we need to see. And then the good on good, I have to see, right? Can we base block this end out, right, or not? I got to see that right there on Wednesday while we're going against our one defensive end, right? I need to see that on film, and it's all situations. So we've got all our base plays out, and now this is a heavy situation. So one thing Cavallo would do he would just say, hey, it's 2nd and 8, and then play the result on 3rd down. So we can call any play on 2nd and 8, and that helped me as a play caller, right? So I've got a script, right, from the practice script, but now I'm more so remembering the game plan, right? So that helps the play callers because, okay, let's say it's 2nd and 8, we run the ball, you get a couple yards, now it's 3rd and 6. Play it as is. So now it's working on your situations, working on the kids' awareness in those situations, and we would do about 3 to 4 racks of that, right? And it's just good on good. We don't need a scout look or anything like that. They're lining up in their best stuff. We're lining up in our best stuff, and it's a competition drill, right? Yeah. And we're trying to get first downs. They're trying to stop us. It may be a 2-minute situation, bagged up, where we have to get 2 first downs. Whatever it is, just heavy situation days on Wednesday. Get the kids self-aware. We may say, hey, blow the horn. Hey, it's 3rd and goal. It's 4th and goal. We need this play to win the game. It's a 4-point game. They score, we win. Defense got up, downs or something like that. Offense celebrates, whatever, something like that. We'll do that one play, right, after whatever it is we want to get done on the script-wise. But that's pretty much what it is. It's going to be a heavy just group and team. Wednesday, it's like a 5-minute indie. I mean, Wednesday is about an hour and 10-minute deal. And we're straight group, special teams, team. That's it.
Okay. And, it's funny you said that about the helping your play calling when when you're playing that based off of what the last down and distance was, because I can't remember if it was one of the pro coaches or college coaches the other day that I saw had made the comment that if you're scripting your practice plays, you're losing valuable education as a coach or something.
That probably was Ben Johnson with the Bears. I think I've seen that too.
I just remember hearing that, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I know you got to script some, but that probably is really good for play callers to not to have to come up with it right then.
Yeah, if I can call a little bit, if I can call about 12 plays, more realistically like I'm going to do on Friday night. Because sometimes you're not looking at the call sheet all the time, right? Yeah. You're going off of what you feel, and the game plan, you've practiced it all week. You're not really always looking at it. I look at the call sheet as a reference, where we're at, or the tag, or what we need to do, the if, then, when. They stop this is the call to go to, right? We have that. But overall, I believe that helped me as a play caller tremendously between year 1 and year 2, those live situations every week, getting that in, not knowing what the situation was going to be. He would just, hey, be ready for whatever when that horn blows. And as soon as he blows it, everybody's alert. The coaches are alert. We're all alert because we got to understand the situation and adapt to it and execute, right? Because you never know how it comes up in the game when it comes up. So I do believe in, you have to script it, get what you need done. But after that, I believe being off script and not scripting your play calls as a play caller.
No, that's good. Yeah. That's good. What now tell me this. You talked about going live to the ground some on 8 plays or whatever it was, kind of some during the week. As the season progresses, does anything change with your practice stuff to keep the kids a little more fresh? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we may not go to the ground as much, after week 6. We get there, then we do a stop the ball, carry feet type of deal. So get them, stop his feet, thud, more of a true thud though. Like that would have been a tackle, that wouldn't have been a tackle, right? True thud. But in the beginning, I think those 8 plays for the defense to be physical, go to the ground, just minimize the 8 plays is really huge to get those guys to be able to tackle. I can't tell them to tackle the guy in the game. We're playing against a team that's going to run the ball 40 times, and they didn't tackle not one time throughout the week. Well, those 8 plays, Tuesday and Wednesday, that'll help a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And outside of their tackling drills, I think they need live reps of tackling, getting off the blocks, doing those things where the coach isn't there holding the dummy, or somebody else is a kid that's trying to block you and do his job, or he's going to get fussed at, right?
Yeah.
I believe in those situations. So we're going to do that, but that will bag off throughout the season a little bit. To save. And we'll do some type of, maybe if that changes, then we go to a low contact drill where it's like a circle chase where the guys are 3 yards apart. They'll run to a cone. The offensive guy will catch the ball, go to a cone. The defensive guy will just run around the cone, and they're in like a 3-4 yard box. And it's a low impact drill.
Yeah.
And that's a tackling drill. Get the guy to the ground. It's a one-on-one deal. And you don't have to worry about 2-3 guys tackling your best player with the ball. And then it's just, you get to look at that rep, and we film it and show the kid, the tackling techniques and things like that.
Now, is the hawk tackling, or that rugby tackling still what you are required to teach the atavist?
Yeah, head,
stuff?
the head behind the guy. that's the safe.
You won't, and I'm sure you see it a lot more, hear it a lot more. But I'm so tired of parents griping.
Get your head
not knowing, because they don't know what coaches are required to
Correct,
teach now by the atavist tackling, and they're just ripping them, going, "Oh, you've got to get your head across the front. How stupid are you to put it? Look, all right, we know what we did forever.
We can't do that anymore. Got to get the head out of the game. That's what we're trying to do. Get the head and neck away from.
That's
from
right. So still every 2-year certification.
Yes, sir. Every 2 years. Yeah.
Coaches, quick question. What if you could take everything that matters in your program, effort, discipline, attendance, strength and speed gains, and actually put a number on it? Not just stats, but who your guys really are every single day. What type of athlete, student, teammate, and even person they are. That's what we're building with Arena OVR 99. It launches May 1st. It's going to let you track not just performance, but accountability, competition, and real development across your team. But if you want something you can use right now, go to my website, CoachRandyJackson.com, and not only will you find information about Arena OVR, but you'll also see a curriculum for Arena captains and Arena team, anything that will help grow your program, plug and play leadership, and it's all at CoachRandyJackson.com.
Okay, that kind of takes care of that part on the practice scheduling part. So let's go to the rapid fire questions.
All right.
And we'll take our time on this part because I like to expand on it. And
okay.
And I know you've had a little situation helping out at different levels, a little bit with some pro summer stuff that you got to work with some guys.
Yep.
You've got to work with a little bit of college stuff too.
Yes,
so you've kind of got an experience at all these levels. So when I pull up some of these questions, I'll probably try to expand on some of the other stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, what's the most unusual situation, though, you've encountered as a coach?
I've encountered 2. One was high school, one was a pro situation, but I'll give you the high school deal. This was this past year, actually. So we were out there starting the season off with like 4 varsity quarterbacks. We're going to the last game with not anybody. like we had to play, I believe it was a Thursday, and the last kid got hurt on Wednesday, like early morning Wednesday. We were practicing 5 a.m, to beat the heat, the whip type stuff. And kid gets hurt. I think it was a knee or something like that. And we're like, what the heck are we going to do? So we just pulled the slot receiver and we just taught him what to do in like a 15, 20 play deal. And then we had a heavy walkthrough. And then while the sub-varsity game was going on, I did another walkthrough with them and did more film with the guy. I probably didn't go home till about 9, 10 o'clock that night. And then we went out there, and what's crazy is we won that game by a field goal, 14-17. Like, we won the game 17-14. On the last drive, it was like the defense got to stop. They missed a field goal, so we got the ball like the third. I think they might have punted, but we got the ball back with about 2:03 left, right before the little 2-minute warning that was new this year. And I'm like, I was kind of hoping defense was going to get a scoop and score or a turnover or something like that. We didn't, but they got to stop. And I'm like, oh, it's on us. Like, we got to go drive the field with a kid who's never played quarterback, like ever, right? And we went to his defense. He was the option because we threw 2 trick plays. And he threw the touchdowns both times on the trick plays, like 50, 60-yard touchdowns.
So he had a lot of experience.
So,
2 plays.
We were like, so we were telling him, you're only going to probably throw it 3 times, man. It's going to be either a little hitch route out here or you're going to throw the ball as far as you can to the tallest guy we got out here. That's it. You're not doing nothing else. And we actually, what's crazy is he threw a vertical ball about 40 yards down the field. Our tall guy, Tyler Williams, caught the football, ran for a little bit, and that got us in field goal range. We were able to call our last time out. And our kicker kicked the field goal. We won the game. So that was unusual. I never had that situation. We had 4 quarterbacks. I never thought that would happen, especially the week of the game. I mean, the day before, guy gets hurt. I was hoping, like, why we can't just play on a Friday? Why we have to have this Thursday stuff? That was I had never been in that situation before ever. So, just teaching, I think that taught me to, never say never. Yeah. Right? I never thought that would happen, but that was big, and that just happened last season versus Seven Lakes.
So what was the pro unusual situation?
Sam Darnold, right? So he was the quarterback with the Minnesota Vikings when I did the internship. And hearing what was unusual was him talking about what he did not like to a coach. High school, you don't hear a guy telling a coach what he doesn't like. So we're in there and you hear him talking to the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, like, I don't like that, like, at all. I don't like anything about it. I never heard that. Right? I never heard a player be able to talk and tell the coach, like, I don't like it. And it was simple. And believe it or not, the crazy deal about it was just about when his eyes should have been looking at a receiver. Like, it wasn't too much about the play, the routes or anything like that. He was just, I don't like my eyes being right here at this time. I want to sit on this guy a little longer because I think this is going to open. Now, the funny part is he had some other experiences in different offenses. He had played a year in the Shanahan system. So all that is kind of the same. The McVay, Shanahan, O'Connell tree, that's all similar. But I had just never heard that. And it was like an awkward silence, for everybody in the room. And what was funny, they were just going around like, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm just like sitting further and further back from the chair, like from the table. Like, I hope they don't ask me. I'm a high school football coach right here. Please don't ask me.
What
anything.
he said.
Yeah, whatever you guys want to do. I'm not in it. I'm just in here, man. But yeah, that was definitely unusual. And then they came to a common ground and just became like, hey, well, you're out there, get the ball completed. But I had never heard that before a coach, a player be able to tell a coach anything.
Well,
like that.
I guess that's got to be a whole different mentality at that level because it is truly a business, not a, I mean, and so there's got to probably be a lot more back and forth.
Yeah. And I think that gets the trust done. I think when you look at the pro level, even at the college level with this NIL stuff, I think that creates a trust of, like, here's the play, and the coach can put you in position. And I learned some good things about that because that, for one, taught me how the guy sees the game. I may not see it the same way. Here's this great idea, this great concept, great scheme or whatever in a situation I think it's going to work in. But the kid may not feel like that. He may feel like, Coach, this play, like, I hear what you're saying, but I need to get to it at this point. So I immediately got back to Morton Ranch and, more things were up for discussion with the quarterback. Tell me, when you get here, do you feel like you're going to be able to see that in that window? Do you need this drop to be a little bit more deeper? Do we need to sprint you out? What do you think you need? Our quarterback, he was sometimes, we let him sit in a meeting early in fall camp. I'll tell you this real quick. And he sat in the coach's office. We're watching the scrimmage. We're getting ready for our first game, and we're going over, like, our 4 verts and our stop series off of that, right? And he's like, we got some guys releasing here or they get to the top of the route and they may release a little different, but they'll get to the spot they need to, right? The guys were doing it. And he came in and we're like, hey, what do you want, right? Because you're like, we're late with the ball, we're not. And he was like, I just want the release uniform. I want all the receivers, if they have to avoid inside. And I'll throw the ball back outside. And that was like, all right. But before that, I probably wouldn't have, no, we're not doing that. I want them to release like this. And then, we threw a lot of seams perfectly, right? We completed a lot of balls in the seam, 3rd and 15, defense probably knows it's coming, and they were released inside, he put the ball back outside. And we just worked on that. We're going to avoid inside, ball thrown outside, we have no problem with it. And, that worked. So I probably wouldn't have been like that before. It would have been just, hey, this is how I want it, complete the ball at this spot. Giving the guy more say in what he feels needs to be done post-snap is big. I think it's our job to prepare the kids pre-snap. And post-snap, the kids kind of sort it out on their own. And I think giving them that ownership allows them to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, I think too, especially probably in the last several years, that's becoming, I think, that along with what you were saying earlier about explaining the why to them on things is becoming more important and more, I think, significant because these athletes are developing mentally a little more maybe than they used to when I was a kid, too, where it was just to do this, yes, sir, and do it. They're a lot more football savvy probably now at the early age, so that's probably good.
Yeah, and I think too, to our defense, I think it's more they have access to a lot more things. The internet.
Oh yeah,
right. And then
definitely.
There's more videos with players talking now that they can go search up. Like I see videos of Tom Brady talking more than I ever seen when I was a kid. Justin Jefferson, the guys that these guys look up to are talking about these things that they're doing. They see they're doing it in high school. So they're able to have more access to that, and they're going to ask more questions. The more things they have access to, the more things they can relate it to.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. Not all coaches like it, right? And there has to be a thin line. We got to have a respect behind it, right? But I do think giving them that understanding of, hey, we can have a discussion about it because it's got to work, right? Like if it's going my way and they may have a better way that they feel like they can get it done, then what really matters? Is it my way that really matters or getting it done really matters? So we, sometimes as coaches, we have to check our ego at the door and just realize that. Yep.
No, that's good. That's good. I like that. Okay. What's your favorite pass route?
That's a good one. I'm old school. So old school curl route, button hook, probably be good, or a stop route, just 10-yard hitch. I like that a lot. Yeah.
My favorite play, one of my favorite passes when I was calling all the time was all hitch.
Yeah.
That little 5-yard hitch. And we'd line up in empty.
Yeah.
And how many times are they going to cover all 5 of them?
Right.
Very seldom. And you could almost always get your 5 yards.
Go get your few yards you need.
And then I tell my son that at Salado, and whenever he'd try running it with his JV kids, they wouldn't catch it.
Yeah.
It didn't work for him.
Yeah.
But those stops and things like that, if the quarterback throws that well, receiver runs a good route, sells a deep part and breaks it back off, that's hard to stop.
Yeah, well, and also, looking at it from a quarterback perspective, I learned this too, when and Noah Mazzoni was the coordinator at UCLA, and, Josh Rose, Brett Hundley, all those guys. One thing I learned is sometimes it's easier for a quarterback to throw to a stationary target than a moving target. And that was big. If you're running these, digs where guys on the run and a quarterback maybe isn't what he needs to be, you just need a guy to complete the ball in high school football, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier for the kid to get in the backyard and have dad or mom stand there and he throws the ball to mom or dad standing there rather than get mom to run back and forward and throw it on a straight line. It's a heck of a lot easier to just get somebody to stand there and that kid get better at it over and over.
Yeah.
So I try to give the kids more stationary targets to throw to. And if it's going to be a moving target, it's got to be something vertical where the margin for error is, you have more of a margin of error. If it's a deep post, well, nobody's behind the post route, right? Nobody's behind the go ball. If we're going to throw the ball over the middle and it's a moving target, you might have a safety behind it. It's tipped, overthrow, they're going to get, it's an interception, right? So, trying to give the kid more of a stationary target than a moving target helps, right? We do have to complete slant routes and things like that, but I do think if we can give him more of a stationary target, it can help a little bit.
No, that's good. Yep. That's good. What's your favorite run play?
Veer, old school.
Oh,
veer, yeah. But out of the gun.
Okay.
But yeah, veer. I'm a veer guy. I like to run veer.
I like that. That's the offense I ran my last several years.
You'll see a lot of that.
Back. Well, we were split back veer. We were under center running the old school method of it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So, are you going to have a hair policy with your football guys?
Right now, though, they currently have one. I believe it's just mustache, chin hair.
So you just follow the school.
Yeah,
policy,
I just follow the school rule. Yeah. But I'll tell you, I didn't have a big policy. I'll follow whatever we have here. I'm going to do that. But, if I had to pick, if they allowed me to just, hey, coach, whatever your hair policy wants to be, I wouldn't, care if we had beards or anything like that. I think sometimes things like that can kind of pigeonhole a kid a little bit. Like we want them to, okay, we're out there, act like men and do this and do that. And in certain situations, we want to treat them like they're little boys. They're young men, right? They're still children, but they're young men. In certain situations, may make a guy feel like he's a little man if he's got a little peach fuzz, right? Little things like that. So, but we're going to follow the school rule. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's good. All right. Heads or tails on a coin flip?
I'm different heads.
All right, there you go. Offensive guys, to me, tend to be more heads-oriented.
Really?
Defensive guys, from what I've seen in this, tend to be more tails never fails, and they lose most of them.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, if you do win the flip, do you like going offense first, or do you like or is that situational?
It's more situational, but to answer this question, to respect how the question is rapid fire, I'll say go defense.
Okay.
I would say go defense. Kind of like that overtime deal. What do we need to do when we get the ball? But, if it's a situation, if it's a game where I feel like, we need that extra possession, I'll take the ball.
Yeah.
Let's just go score.
But see, and what's goofy is everybody that says that they want to go, when they – almost all of them say when they want to go defense first, they say that statistically it shows something where you're going to get the ball again at like 2 in a row into the first half, beginning of the second half. I don't know. They say that all the time, and I keep wanting to say that's got to be bull because I don't know how that could be right.
Heard of that, so I'll have to look at that.
They tell me that all the time. They say that
if that's the case, I definitely want to kick. I want to go defense every time.
I just don't get it. And I was an offensive guy, and so I always had my script. That first 12 plays, something like that. And I remember one year at Jacksboro, we scored the opening possession on that 8 out of 11 games that year. I mean, we drove right down play by play, never varied. And so I got in the habit of always wanting to do that offensively.
Control the game. I agree. I'm the same way. We're going to have a script to open the game up.
But, okay, do you have a pregame speech?
Nah, I mean, I think you talk to the kids a lot throughout the week on what the mission is.
Yeah.
We'll do our prayer. Hey, let's go. But it won't I'm not a pregame speech type of guy.
Okay. All right. Do you have a favorite quote?
Yes.
You like to use?
I'd say, old Nick Saban deal, how you do anything is how you do everything. I do believe in that.
All right. That's a good one, too.
Yeah, it's a great.
Okay, music in the weight room?
Yeah, gotta have music in the weight room. Now, we don't blast it to where, where the coach is talking, we're going to turn it down.
Yeah.
And everything is still on the command. Right, we want everything on the command. The whistle, we lift on the whistle.
Oh, okay, you do command weights.
Yeah,
okay.
we're going to be, hey, first man, first, lift, in the rotation. We blow the whistle, give it a few times. We're on the command with the whistle, but we're going to have the music going as well. For one, not I don't always say it's just for rah-rah motivation. Right, you got to create some type of distractions too. In the game, you're gonna have bands playing. I've had coaches to where I've heard it from both sides, but what resonated with me as a player, the band is playing a lot of the time when we're in the game. The crowd is loud. Yeah. It's not silent. So I have to be able to deal with that. So if I can create that distraction for them and control that distraction for them, hey, this is how we're doing. We're not doing a good job. We're listening to the music a little bit more than we're listening to command. We're late, whatever. We can get that fixed. We don't have to worry about that when the game comes. We're talking about the band. We work out every day with music on. The band's not going to be an issue for us. So I think everything like that has a degree to it. But, sometimes I let the kids know we got to earn that. So if they do a horrible job with the music and things like that, then, we won't have it for a day or two or whatever. They got to earn the right to have that. But I don't have a problem with music in the weight room.
All right, good. Okay, varsity player in the band, you going to let them march at halftime?
Yeah, absolutely. Let them march.
All right. Yeah. All right. Back to weight room then. What are your favorite 3 lifts in the weight room?
Ooh, that's a tough one. All right, let's see if you count this one as one. So I got regular back squat, just regular squat, bar on your back. And I do like front squat. I like front squat. And
so tell me this. Why do you, because that's a big thing. A lot of coaches like the front squat more. Why do you like front squat?
So for me, I feel like the front squat replicates a little bit more of not just your front quads, but it reps more of your explosion a little bit because it kind of, to me, it replicates more of a hang clean type of deal. So that leads me to what the third lift is. I'm a hang clean guy, not deadlift. I don't like the kids, and I do understand. I'm not talking about teams that do it because I do think it serves a purpose, brute strength, explosion.
Yeah.
But for me, we don't ever I'm not picking the guy up off the ground and blocking him. We're just going to hang clean. So the weight is already up a little bit, right? So other than that, I have no problem with deadlift, but now as a head coach, that was something I would look at. When I have my own program, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, right? Yeah. So that would be those three.
Okay. And, I never was a fan of deadlift, just true deadlift. Now, I liked the full power cleans.
Yep.
Really trying to develop a base on, for that purpose. Yep. But my daughter's track coach there at Fredericksburg, Coach Aldrich, he is huge on power cleans for his girls track. And he's a very successful track coach.
Yeah.
And he said he got it from A&M sprint coaches.
Wow, okay.
He was talking about how the A&M sprint coaches use deadlift to develop speed or whatever. And I don't know if it's the current ones or the ones that
before,
if ones that he was going, over there and looking at before. And because the thing I didn't like about it, it was a static lift. It wasn't explosive. It wasn't, movement, as much movement oriented. It was too stiff for me. But I thought that was weird that he said it was a big, pushed by their old speed and strength deal, to try to help speed was to do the deadlift. My daughter hates it, but But, okay, favorite agility exercise?
That's a good one. I'll say 5-10-5 shuttle, L drill, or something we did at Morton Ranch was a cat and mouse drill. Kid runs for the hula hoop, trying to catch another kid before he gets through 10 yards. So I would say that, but 5-10-5 shuttle I like.
I like that one too. Yeah. Okay, random ones here. Are you a conspiracy theory person?
Oh, man. Overall, no, but there are some that I think, like.
Are there some that really bug you and you're
question, like, okay, like I have one, like, did we really walk on the moon?
Okay, I'm with you on that.
Okay,
I'm not convinced either.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really kind of questioning that a little bit, like.
Because now we're making such a huge deal about just going back around it.
Right. So
okay,
it's like, what do we do? If we've been there before in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're in 2026. We should be fine.
That's exactly what I'm saying. We should have a skyscraper in there. You know? I don't know. But everybody's that, and I'm really curious on the JFK stuff.
That too. There's a show on Netflix. I think you got to check it out.
I do want to watch that. Somebody
you got to check it out. It's really good. So the guys, he's time traveling and going back to stop the JFK assassination. And it's really good.
Oh no, I saw the previews for that.
Yeah, check it out. It's a limited series, like 8 episodes. I watched it in 2 days. Like it had me glued to my seat. Like it's really good.
They put a lot of factual stuff in there?
Yeah, it's a lot of factual stuff. It's like an older guy that's in this community that owns a diner, and he has like a closet he wants him to go through, and he's getting old, he's getting sick and things like that, and he's like trying to tell him like about what he's doing, and the guy goes back in time and sees it, and he brings him back, and he's explaining like what happened. Like this is what's going to happen. Oswald is going to be here at this time. You got to save it. Well, he's got to go back in time and do the study. So he's actually, and however the show was, it said like time was, 30 minutes for a day or something like. So he wasn't really losing time where he was at in current time, but he would go back and people didn't believe him, but they were when he started. He had How to Make Money. Well, he would bet on sports because he knew the old man gave him sports. So
by Yahoo.
Like, how the heck did you know that was going to happen? It was like, well, I got this. So they started believing him when he was able to tell them, this is what's going to happen. And he predict, the JFK thing, nobody believed him because he wasn't the president at the time. And then he was like, he's going to, right? I forget who was before him, but he went back in the previous previous president term. But it's a really good show.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that now.
Check it out. It's good.
Ones.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a good one.
No, that'll be good. All right, do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah, I listened
what are your favorite ones?
Coach Coordinator podcast, Keith Grebakowski.
Coach Coordinator?
Yeah, he has a lot of different coaches that come on, talk about scheme, kind of like we're doing, but talk more in depth about their scheme, how they teach the scheme, things like that. It's pretty good, pretty interesting.
Okay.
I like that.
All right. If you could change one rule in football, what would it be?
Ooh, smaller, like hash marks. Like move the hash marks from where the ball is spotted, how wide it is, to more closer. Like keep the game more in the middle of the field.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't like the hash marks where the tackle is almost to the numbers when the ball's on the hash. I don't like that. I don't. And when you think about safety, I think like, I get it, but all we're going to do is, teams are, okay, what a lot of defense do? They align to the field or they align to the formation. Well, let's say, you got kids, we're going to just bring the ball back to the field, right? So I think if space, everybody's got to defend space. It's a little bit easier, and I think it could be a little bit more safer.
All right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. I never even thought about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you do if you weren't a coach?
That's a great question. So I would probably work for the railroad. I've got some family that drive trains and things like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I was getting into that right after college. I was getting into that a little bit before I got my first stint. I could see myself doing that. Yeah, I could work for the railroad. I would do something like that. If I wasn't a coach, completely couldn't do it, yeah, I would do something like that.
God, I never thought of that.
Yeah. I don't like to – I couldn't see myself being a sales guy. I don't want anything where I have to rely on other people. So, if I have to sell you to get something, I got to convince you for it. You probably don't even need it, right? So, I would just do something like that. Yeah, cool.
That's true. That old buddy of mine, Coach Patman, who was the head coach at Del Valle and retired a couple of years ago. Now that he retired, he's a sells vehicles down in Hutto.
Okay.
At what is it called? I forgot the name of it. I always put a plug in here on him or whatever. Yeah. But I always tell people, go see him when you need a vehicle because former coach and AD, great guy. You can trust him. Otherwise, salespeople scare me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like you said, I never know if they're just trying to convince me to buy something I don't need. But him, I trust. So, now, do you have a pro or a college coach that you look up to or try to model some things after?
Yeah, I send my mentor. I talk to him every day. Literally every day. He's going to send me some type of motivation, some type of text message. We talk. I can call him up. Adam Henry, he's the receiver coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're from the same city. He's from Beaumont, Texas. He was the Buffalo Bills receiver coach for the past few years. I look up to him. I talk to him.
That's cool.
I need anything. He's going to give me a different perspective on how to look at it. Tell me how he would maybe handle it at the pro level, what he thinks I should do or not do. I definitely model him. We talk about trends. Hey, what's some things that's going on in the NFL that I may not even know that's going on, right? And he'll give me, he'll tell me, So something, we're talking about. I can't reveal it. I'll tell it to you off the air. But yeah, he's my guy. I definitely model my game after him, And he's coached some guys. He coached Jarvis Landry at LSU and Odell Beckham. Coached them in Cleveland. He's kind of like their handler a little bit. Wherever they're at, they call him to be the receiver coach. He was Dallas Cowboys receiver coach from McCarthy, so now he followed McCarthy to Pittsburgh to be his receiver coach. But
that's cool. Yeah. That's nice to have that kind of guy on speed dial.
Absolutely.
Got questions.
How some of those guys are. They forget where they came from and this and that. But he was a high school guy. Went to did college at Big State. Then went to LSU. Then the pro. So he gets to these days true to who he is.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's cool. And it's nice to see those guys that stay humble like that with that kind of success.
Yeah, absolutely.
That just kind of move right on up the ranks and get to experience that. That's neat. Okay, do you got a favorite pregame song?
Yeah, I'm a little weird. I like Carrie Underwood. So it's for the champion. I listen to a little Carrie Underwood.
Okay, I was not expecting that. I'm thinking,
I listen to rap music here and there, but like the
Back
last
in Black,
song
I'm thinking something like that.
Yeah, no, man. The last song on our playlist is gonna be Carrie Underwood, the champion. Yeah, I like to listen to that. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good song. That is.
It's awesome. Yeah, definitely inspirational.
Okay, favorite sports movie?
I got to Any Given Sunday. And you got to watch it all the way to his speech about the inch, clawing every inch. You got to listen. Got to watch it that part, or Friday Night Lights. Classic. Okay.
Now, did you like the series Friday Night Lights or the movie?
The movie. Okay. I did watch the series when I was in high school. I watched it, but it nothing beat the movie.
Yeah,
nothing beat the movie.
I didn't like the series. My wife loved the series, but I didn't like the series
was
much.
Well, it was okay. Certain things looking at Coach wasn't realistic.
Yeah, that was my deal.
Right.
From
you like that would never happen.
Yeah.
They can't do that. That's crazy. You go to prison for that. Right?
Or the kids, with okay.
They're drinking and
he's letting his daughter go shack up at some guy's house in high school. Nah, that doesn't happen.
What's going
very
on?
often.
Yeah, kids live by themselves in high school.
That was weird. Yeah. But those are two good ones though. All right, favorite movie quote.
Ooh, that is. Think of one right there, man. You got some good ones, man. Let me think. Give me. I don't know if I really have one. To be honest, I would hate to have an answer.
No. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
I was a big Tombstone fan and
Okay.
Outlaw Josie Wells, kind of old Western ones.
Yeah.
So they always had a million of them in them. So that's why I had that on there. But that was the only reason.
Yeah.
Well, what, Coach? That's all the questions I had. Is there anything you'd like to share, kind of about what you got going on here at Hillsboro and what you're excited about?
Yeah, just excited. These kids are really great. I've heard a few things, mixed, from where I was coming from. I heard nothing but great things. But, and I got up here at the DFW area, I heard some other things. And some people don't understand the kids here at Hillsboro are awesome. They're great. If you're a coach, want to be a head coach, want to be a position, anything like that, Hillsboro is a good spot. The kids are tremendous. I mean, you go walk in the halls. If I took you into the building and let you walk a hall, I would bet you lunch. I would bet you all the money in my bank account, you would not see a kid in the hallway. Like, the kids are in class. They're not walking around. They're not disrespectful. They are great kids. I mean, they really are. It's a coach's dream. So, what I believe here is if you're a good coach at Hillsboro, it'll show, because the kids are going to do exactly what you tell them to do. Right? Now, they're kids. They may question some things, but they're great kids. I have not had any issues with not one kid here yet at all. I mean, and we've put them through some stuff already, right? I haven't had a kid want to quit, talk back, smack his lips. Haven't had any of that. They're great. They're great, amazing kids. And I'll say the community here, they're awesome. We're on to some things here, and I think, the previous staff, Coach Al Nute, did a good job, right? He had some things going on. I don't know why he couldn't continue, and nothing bad, just, some health things and things like that, right? But I think he did a good job of setting the groundwork, and I think now me coming in a little younger, different ideas, being able to relate to the kids a little bit more helps. But this is a great spot. I call it a little honey hole to everybody I've been telling. It's a good spot here, and I'm definitely excited. It's great people, great kids. It's a great spot.
Well, good. And you've got a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, got a Buc-ee's
so there
right down
you
the
go.
street, right down
there
the street.
You go.
So it's a win-win situation. So
well, that's awesome. Coach, thank you again for taking the time to visit with me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming. Thanks.
And good luck to you, and I'll be keeping up with you guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you for joining Coach Hamilton and I here today in Hillsboro. I hope you enjoyed getting to know a little more about him, his background, and kind of what he's got planned for the Eagles this upcoming season. I'm not sure where I'll be next week, as always, but I hope you can join us wherever that is. Hope everyone's district track meets are going well, too, because I know that's going on this week. And remember, if you are lost in Texas, just look for the lights.
I wear that red and white on a Friday night when my hometown takes the field. I say yes sir, yes ma'am, try to be the best man. That's how I feel. No matter where my heart runs, I remember where I came from. Still got that raised up pride, that small town pride, that black, red, white.